It's the first Friday in the month of December and I am on top of the world. It's indeed the most wonderful time of the year. The Christmas breeze just cool and nice to see, man. And to borrow a phrase from a popular hymn, the Christmas carols have been echoing their joyous strains. Coming up on Jamaica Magazine, Jamaican jerk is now a geographical indication. We explain this and other forms of intellectual property. Plus, the top 5 children in the JIS Heritage Essay Competition are revealed, and the do's and don'ts of Christmas parties. I'm Adrian Atkinson. Those and so much more in just a few minutes.
Fever, rash, joint pain and red eyes. All common signs of the Zika virus or ZIKV. Symptoms are usually mild, lasting anywhere from a few days to a week. Jamaica has no Zika cases, but if it gets here, it would only be transmitted by the Aedes aegypti mosquito. Don't give Zika a chance. Prevent the breeding of these pesky mosquitoes.
The use of oil, cooking oil, a little tip of cooking oil poured on the surface of the water suffocates the larvae and prevents them hatching out. So persons can do that.
Good day, I'm Tamara McHale and this is your JIS News for Friday, December 4. The Health Ministry is intensifying efforts to keep the Zika virus out of Jamaica while working on a plan to deal with an outbreak of the virus if it reaches our shore. On Thursday, there was a national training seminar for senior health workers on the ministry's preparedness and response activities. This information will be passed on to other health practitioners across the island. A representative from the Pan American Health Organization and the World Health Organization was also at the training seminar. Health Minister Horace Daly says part of the plan is to retrain health workers, get adequate resources, and mobilize all sectors of society to destroy and prevent mosquito breeding sites. 1,000 young people will also be hired and trained to assist in the process.
We are going to do everything in our powers, everything our very best, to eliminate the mosquito, to identify the virus if it is here, or when it comes, or if it comes, and to make sure we do our part to minimize the impact on our population, our economy, and our people.
The Zika virus is spread by the Aedes aegypti mosquito, which also transmits dengue and chikungunya. As of December 1, it was detected in 9 countries in the Americas. That includes 1 Caribbean country, Suriname. In Brazil, there are reports of a possible link between the Zika virus and birth defects. Individuals are reminded to prevent mosquito bites by using insect repellent containing DEET, wearing long-sleeved clothing, and meshing windows and doors. District constables will become pensionable at the start of the new fiscal year, which begins April 1, 2016. Prime Minister Portia Simpson Miller made the announcement at the 24th Annual General Conference of the United District Constables Association. It's in keeping with the 2012-2015 Heads of Agreement between government and the trade union.
Cabinet has given approval for district constables to be pensionable. Instructions have been given to the Chief Parliamentary Council to start work on amending the legislation to give effect to this decision.
The Prime Minister added that district constables would also be able to benefit from the government's Pensioners-Only Administration Health Insurance Scheme. And the Ministry of National Security has also been authorized to pay performance increments to district constables. Jamaica currently has over 2,400 district constables, the highest in many years. Come next Monday, December 7, Tax Administration Jamaica TAJ will be rolling out Phase 2 of its Revenue Administration Information System RAISE. TAJ Commissioner General Ainsley Powell says it's in keeping with the plans to improve tax compliance and improve customer service.
It will also allow us to have the taxpayer interfacing with our systems and be able to see their accounts and to communicate with us via the web segment of the system. Also, what we are doing from the risk-based side is to be able to profile taxpayers, look at different issues that may arise.
Mr. Powell, who was addressing a recent JIS think tank, said under Phase 2 of RAISE, persons would be able to do a number of transactions online. These include applying for income tax exemption and a tax compliance certificate, viewing filing and payment history, making direct bank payments, and submitting applications and supporting documents for tax registration numbers (TRN). Under Phase 1 of RAISE, implemented in February this year, all large taxpayers filed their tax returns online. Among other things, refunds for general consumption tax (GCT) are also filed online. Labour market reform was the main focus of the Partnership for Jamaica Council, which held its final meeting for the year on Thursday. The meeting, chaired by Prime Minister Portia Simpson Miller, also received an update from the Labour Market Reform Commission, which indicated that the protection of workers and productivity enhancement would be addressed in the first phase of its work. Trust building, an important contributor to social and economic development, would also be addressed by the Commission. A release from the Office of the Prime Minister added that the Partnership Council also expressed pleasure with the re-engagement of the opposition. Senator Kamina Johnson-Smith represented the opposition at the meeting. In the meantime, the terms of reference, chairmanship and membership of the Law and Order Working Group of the Partnership were also discussed. There was also an update on health-related matters from Health Minister Horace Daly, and Donna Parchment Brown was congratulated on her recent appointment as political ombudsman. And finally, all new teachers may soon be required to have training in special education diagnosis and techniques. Education Minister Reverend Ronald Thwaite says this training will be crucial to the further development of the education system.
Everyone must be aware of how to recognize, where possible to at least do a preliminary diagnosis, and where to refer for treatment, particularly at the early childhood level, because the sooner we recognize, the more likely it is that therapy can be successful and certainly be more economical.
The Education Minister was speaking at a symposium on disability awareness, which was part of week-long activities to mark Disabilities Awareness Week. The week was observed under the theme Inclusion Matters, Access and Empowerment of People of All Abilities. Among other things, it focused on the rights of children with disabilities. And that's it for GIS News today. I'm Tamara McHale. Thanks for watching.
Musicians, users of music instruments. If you're a registered member of the Jamaica Federation of Musicians or the recording industry of Jamaica, you may apply for a waiver of duty on the importation of music equipment. You'll need to submit the following: a letter of request to the Film Commission or Creative Industries Unit, and a pro forma invoice detailing the items being imported with corresponding serial numbers and costs. Jamaica Promotions Corporation JAMPRO will submit the documents to the Ministry of Finance for approval. You must get approval before the items arrive. For more information on the Music Tools of Trade incentive, click on the Tourism and Entertainment Ministry's website at mot.gov.jm or call the Ministry's Entertainment Division at 920-4926-30.
If you've been keeping up to date with current affairs, you would have known that Jamaican jerk is now a geographical indication. The government, through the Jamaica Intellectual Property Office, is safeguarding one aspect of branded Jamaica. So what is a geographical indication? Up next, details on the different types of intellectual property.
Intellectual property is all about protecting the original creations of the mind. That's a mandate being carried out by the Jamaica Intellectual Property Office, JIPO. It deals with more than just copyright and trademarks issues. We'll be exploring a number of areas. First up, designs.
A design has to do with protecting the aesthetic or ornamental appearance of a work. So for example, you think of fashion, jewelry, clothing, shoes, or somebody came up with an interesting design for chairs or tables or furniture or various craft items. These original or novel way of designs can be protected as an intellectual property right.
And that intellectual property, be it an industrial design or otherwise, adds to the commercial value of a product and increases its marketability.
If you are, for example, a craftsperson, an artisan, and you have come up with something that is original and novel and is attractive and consumers want to buy it, you want to ensure that you're able to recoup any financial investments that you have made in developing this product and bringing it to market, and to prevent persons from stealing your idea.
According to JIPA, when an industrial design is protected, it promotes economic development by encouraging creativity in the industrial and manufacturing sectors. Ultimately, commercial activities will expand and exports will be boosted.
Patents has to do with inventions, whether of products or processes, or improvements of existing products or processes. So for example, the television cameras, the lights, the stop lights, your cell phone, the laptop, they have hundreds of patents operating in them. And the persons who invented those products, they had rights for a certain time period to sell and earn back from the investment that they made in developing that product.
However, when a patent goes public, it can be further improved. For example, the telephone. It's been around for many years, but persons have invented newer types to make them more efficient. Other examples of patents include board games, medication, and a sports energy drink. And it gets better.
Somebody has also filed for cassava pancake mix.
Cassava
pancake mix.
Okay.
And other sporting equipment.
Take this intellectual property literally. Culture, musical forms, plants, things that are indigenous to us as a country. The idea is to make sure that Jamaica and the Jamaicans are reaping the economic benefits. In the case of plants, foreigners might obtain knowledge of their medicinal purposes.
And then they take that information, they go back to their country and they manufacture medication and make lots of money from that process, but nothing comes back to our indigenous persons, whether it's the little grandmother up in the mountains who has had this knowledge for generations. Nothing comes back to her. And so what we want to do through traditional knowledge and traditional cultural expressions and protecting our genetic resources is to identify those practices, those bodies of knowledge that are ours, so that we can find the best legal route to protect them. So we're actually in the process of working with the local Rastafarian community and the local Maroon communities to work with them to identify what exactly is their traditional knowledge and to determine the best way of protecting that traditional knowledge.
Where does Blue Mountain coffee originate? Well, there'll be no question with a geographical indicator. It will clearly state that it's from Jamaica. Therefore, GIs help consumers around the world to identify the origin, quality, and reputation of products. With a geographical indicator, brand Jamaica will be further showcased to the world. Some products that can be protected are Jamaica rum, Jamaica jerk, and Blue Mountain coffee. Intellectual property is important to Jamaica's economy. A study by the World Intellectual Property Organization, WIPO, shows that in 2005, 4.8% of Jamaica's gross domestic product, GDP, came from the copyright-based sectors. This translated into 29 billion Jamaican dollars. The sector employed over 32,000 persons, or 3.03% of all employment. For more information on intellectual property, contact JIPO at 18 Trafalgar Road, Kingston 10, or give them a call at 946-1300.
Public education is an important part of what we do, and we want to inform all Jamaicans so that they can be aware that they have rights if they are creators, but also that they have responsibilities if they are users, so that we can build a culture that is respectful of intellectual property.
Mr. Shirley, me get the invitation from America. What?
You know the
A passport is one of the most important forms of...
Here at PICA, we believe in excellent customer service. So when we wanted our customers to know about us, we approached the JIS and they delivered, and we got excellent value for money. And so we encourage you to go to the JIS, a one-stop shop for media services. They have print, radio, television, and so much more.
Do you recall earlier infomercials about the JIS Heritage Essay and Poster competitions? Well, we received quite a number of entries from students attending schools all across the island. Thanks so much for your participation. We applaud everyone who took the time to write about a day in the life of their favorite national hero, or design a poster depicting a moment in the life of their favorite national hero. This week, we begin a countdown to the announcements of the winners. We kick things off with the top 5 participants in the JIS Heritage Essay Competition.
They did their research. They wrote their essays. And the results are in. 5 brilliant students have made it to the top.
I feel overjoyed and excited to make it to the top 5 of JIS competition. I am happy because I do enough researching.
I feel extremely happy because after long nights of working and bursting my brain to find ideas, it paid off. So I feel very good.
I feel good about making it into the top 5.
It's an amazing feeling and I will never forget this moment.
This year's 5th staging of the JIS Heritage Essay Competition required students aged 9 to 12 to write an essay on the topic, A Day in the Life of a Jamaican National Hero. And these 5 students did an exceptional job.
I used Nanny of the Maroon, I used her because she was a brave heroine and she stand up for her people and their rights.
The hero that I use is Paul Bogle and he fights for his rights.
I use Nanny of the Maroon because she is my favorite heroine.
I chose Paul Bogle and my essay is mainly about how he made it for us to be treated equally. I chose Paul Bogle. He was involved with the church and normally people associated with the church don't really participate in those secular activities, so I was amazed.
The Fantastic 5 will be recognized for their hard work and talent.
Well, right now I can't explain. Words can't explain. Excited, don't know what to say right now. I remember when she started the competition, I saw it on TV and I introduced it to her and she started writing. And even when the light gone, she have a little bang of phone in the book and she write 2 o'clock in the morning. So when I see she put out all of that effort, when, you know, even make me feel more joy and everything, I can't explain to you.
I am feeling like a very proud parent right now because I have seen the hard work that these guys have put in, and to make it to top 5, I am very proud, extremely proud.
She's a student who is willing and participate in whatever activities you have. She endeavors to participate and give support. And so I'm really, really proud of her today, really elated and happy that she has made it to the top 5.
Well, I am very happy for her. I'm feeling excited that she made it to the top. She's a very hard worker. She loves competition. And to see that her hard efforts are paying off, it's a very good feeling.
The time has come to announce the winner. Who will it be?
And be sure to join us next week when we unveil the top participants in the JIS Heritage Poster Competition.
I said be careful what you teach your little children. Make sure I know something to hurt them. Mind what you're saying to my sister. She could be the next Prime Minister.
Children in Jamaica constitute anyone who is under the age of 18 years. And so once you have a child who is under your care and supervision, we encourage you at the Office of the Children's Advocate to always know where your children are. It doesn't mean that you have to be there with them, but you certainly know who they're with, where they're going, and the purpose for being there. This is a key component in helping to establish some rules in terms of some ground rules and helping to guide your children towards responsible and sensible choices, and also assisting you if something were to go wrong to know what is the first point of contact to assist your child. While you're not to look at everybody as a potential suspect, that you need to be very wary of adults, whether they're in positions of authority or not, that seek to want to have a very close relationship with your child. Somebody who wants to invite your child on an outing and it's just that adult and your child alone. Somebody who wants to take your child to a very special event to reward the child, perhaps for some performance that the child would have done in an extracurricular activity or for academic excellence. We encourage you to look at these situations very carefully and to determine whether or not it's an appropriate meeting or outing that this person is propositioning for your child. If you're enrolling your child in a daycare, ensure that you know something about the track record of that daycare. Ensure that the daycare has what we call an open door policy, which allows you to go in, see what's happening, observe how the workers there interact with the children, and know some of the ground rules that guide these interactions. If they're going on outings, whether it be school trips or otherwise, ensure that at some point, even if you can't go to all, you do attend some of them, so you get yourself integrated into the system and the culture of the school. For these tips, and of course any other information that deals with children, that is anyone under 18 years, please feel free to contact the Office of the Children's Advocate. We're at 72 Harbour Street, downtown Kingston, and our numbers are 948-1134, or website www.oca.gov.jm.
Watch what you teach your little children. Make sure I know something to hurt them. Mind what you saying to my sister, cause she could be the next Prime Minister.
Life is all about making decisions, choosing from a number of options to do a particular thing, which may result in a specific outcome.
It can be difficult, but there are 4 things you can do to help make that decision.
Stop. Check out what's happening and remind yourself to think before acting. Think.
Make sure you're aware of the choices, all the advantages and disadvantages. Then think about the consequences.
Act. Choose the best option and do something about it. Review.
Finally, review what you have done and determine if it was good or bad. That way, you'll be in a better position to make the next decision, whether big or simple.
You know, one thing we have to decide in this Yuletide season, is what to do and what not to do at Christmas parties. Check this out.
It's the holiday season, and with it comes company parties. Common sense should dictate what not to do at a Christmas social, but unfortunately, when alcohol is involved, common sense seems to go right out the window. Whether you are the employee or attending one of these parties with someone who is, it is always best to know what should not be done at one of these functions.
Maintenance of decorum, proper decorum. We are ladies, and therefore the most important thing is to behave like a lady at all times. Be aware of what you should and should not say. I think what you mustn't do is be worried about the fact that you may not know. All you do is watch, look at how someone else is holding their glass, look at how someone else is using their knife and fork. So just watch and and follow.
Chief State Protocol Advisor Ambassador Eleanor Sherlock says exhibiting professionalism and personal decorum at social events will form part of how that person is perceived. Remember always, you are surrounded by others.
I don't like when there is a lack of decorum, when you dance too close or it gets too familiar, because the following day or thereafter you have to interact, you have to work with a person, you have to look in that person's face. Therefore, the level of decorum should be maintained.
As a star artist, some level of professionalism should still be upheld, because at the end of the day, the next day or the next couple of days is work, and we still need to work in the same environment as co-workers, and we don't want emotions and all them stuff there running up all over the place.
What really upset me the most at the Christmas party is when them start to drink and them start to misbehave and them I want some little short up things and start misbehave. It really look bad for them.
When they overdrink and bouncing upon you like it is appropriate, and it's not, because then again you have to go back to work and work with them. They drink spill on you and mess you up, and that's not nice.
Functions or parties provide excellent networking opportunities. With this in mind, patrons or partygoers must be aware that a potential business partner or a prospective employer could be standing right next to you as you stagger around with a drink in hand, speak with food in your mouth, and badmouth the boss. Here are some of the most common mistakes people make. What is not yours? Simply leave it alone. You will always be remembered for that outlandish outfit. Disregard the Jamaican notion of always being late. Though it's a delectable affair or there is a buffet line and an open bar, it's provided for everyone at the party.
There are some things which are just not to be said. And so gossiping and speaking ill of persons, speaking ill of your colleagues, and those are just absolute no-no. Especially if you're in the working world, how you behave is going to dictate where you end up. It's not from where you start, but how you behave.
Now that you are aware of the don'ts of party protocol, here are some pointers to ensure that you dance away from the event feeling professional and rewarded. Be informed of the company or person hosting the event. If you are a new employee, ensure that you are familiar with co-workers' posts, especially top-level members. If you are accompanying a friend to an event, do your own background research into the party hostess so you are not lost in the woods during conversations. Mix and mingle. Shed the shy girl or laid-back dude attitude and meet people. There may be a potential business partner or prospective employer inside the dance room. Walk with business cards. If you don't have the time to generate one, ensure that you have a pen and paper on you.
Reputation lost is never again regained, and one needs to have their personal dignity, and dignity comes with how you conduct yourself. And that's why I think it's important for decorum.
It's a holiday.
That's it for Jamaica Magazine today. As you prepare for the weekend, be safe. Be aware of your surroundings. Look out for the children and seniors. And of course, slow down on the road. Speed kills. You may also want to pencil in some time for useful info. Visit jis.gov.jm or social media pages and share your comments via email. JamaicaMagazine@jis.gov.jm. I'm Adrian Atkinson, and this has been Jamaica Magazine. Have yourselves a great evening.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.